Excuse me, baby.
You were in front of the camera.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
You good? I just didn't.
I don't mind
I just want
being
you
on
to
tape.
You can say before to my people.
I'm used to camera and taping,
Okay.
not setting it up.
Good morning to you.
It's Monday.
That's right. Hey.
The old lady mama yelling at me already.
Man.
I'm just asking her, list 10 things on the nuts and
I'm loving the energy. Good morning, precious. How you doing, baby? Happy Monday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. When you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Coffee and Conversation with Shakenya, and hit subscribe. It's free. I don't know if I need to stress that. I don't know if that's going to be your, deciding factor if you're going to subscribe or not. But if money was an issue, it's free. Look at some of the videos, please. Give me about a 3 average. Yeah, if you could see 3 videos, and out the 3, if you liked at least one of them, share that one on your social media. If it made you laugh, if you learned something by it, if you apply whatever I said to your everyday and it worked, get that credit. That's called giving people credit. That's called giving people their flowers while they still here. You know what I'm saying? Giving a shout out to Shakenya. Hey, Shakenya changed my life, right? So just share it. I know that's taking it too far. And then after you do that, hey Cynthia, shout out to Flint, Michigan. Yes, after you finish that, make sure you get a copy of my book, please. I'm trying to be famous. So if I'm doing all these things that I'm doing, and if y'all support some of these things that I'm doing, if not all, I might be famous, right? So yeah, get a copy of my book. You can get it from Amazon, and you can get it from lulupublishing.com. I'm going to try to buy them in bulk again, because I was buying them in bulk, and then I would go to different like fairs or different events, and I would actually sell them. I would sell them, I would sell the t-shirts for attitude adjustment, whatever I had, and if somebody wanted to partner with me, we'll sell whatever. So I'm gonna do that again, but in the meantime, in between time, you can go get it off those websites. So we are raising our daughters part 55. I know y'all like it. Well, Shakenya, how far you gonna take it? Well, shoot, we in 2016 and she left me in 2018. So we ain't got that far to go, right? I know. We ain't got that far to go. So just roll with me for a minute. So right now we in 2016. The girls are 13 and 17. Let me see. So we have an 8th grader and a 12th grader. The boys are in their 20s and they're on their own with their families. Everything is working. The system that was put in place with the boys was working with the girls. Yep, so everything I was doing raising the boys, I did it with the girls, right? So the classes that they were working, because remember I taught the classes to the boys too. Yep, it's just certain classes I had to teach a certain way. I probably had a man come behind me and follow up whatever I was teaching, or second it. Meaning that whatever I said, they came right in and let the boys know, oh yeah, your mama was right. And then that sealed it that I was right. But they had to get it confirmed from a man, and I'm okay with that. Remember, we in part 55 for the girls. I stopped at part 14 for the boys. So that means somebody got to fill in that gap for the boys, because I couldn't fill it in for you. And I'm quite sure you couldn't fill it in, because you're not a boy, right? You're not a man. You don't know, right? So, yeah, I'm at 55 with the girls. So, yep, they just had to second it, and that's fine. So the classes were working. Everything was working. Yep. The structure was working. Remember, that was in place before the baby got here. Discipline, routine, yeah. Structure, yeah. So all that was in place, and it was working. The kids knew that I tap that ass if I need to. Yeah, mind you, I did not have to whip the girls. I did not. But I think it was understood throughout the household that I would. Right? So yeah, I ain't had no problems. Man. They were just as passionate about the things that I was passionate about. So every project I brought them on, everything that I asked them to do, when I tell you there was no resistance, it wasn't a lot. Because I'm not going to say it was none. Let's just say it wasn't a lot. You know, I got more okay moms than, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get smacking lips at all. But I did get more yay than, oh, mom, again. You know? So, yeah, everything was fine. They was passionate about some of the same things. Yeah, they didn't give me any problems. We got along. You know, I be trying to figure out when moms and daughters are estranged and I don't like my mom, and I would never have thought that would exist in my world. You know what I'm saying? Because we got along just fine. Yeah, my children, I'm not going to say they were my friends, but they were the closest thing to me. I'll just say that. I shared a lot with my children. I trusted my children. They were mine. You know what I'm saying? Even though I had to share the baby, I gave birth to her, so she was mine, you know? So, yeah, we got along just fine, because you got to keep in mind I was raising them in my likeness. And I'm a pretty lovable person. And I can be funny sometimes, you know. Might be difficult to deal with sometimes. I can say that. Might be difficult. Only because I try to do what's right all the time. And sometimes I find that to be frustrating for a lot of people, right? Yeah, I don't know. It was how I was raised. So it's not a problem for me to stay within the guidelines. It's not that much of a problem for me to follow rules. It's not that much of a problem for me to do what I'm told. It's not that much of a problem for me to do certain things. So it doesn't, I don't have a problem doing what's right when nobody's looking. You know what I'm saying? But you'll be surprised when people trying to do stuff that's not right, and then you tell them the reasons why they should do it. They might not like you no more after that. You know what I mean? People start distancing themselves from you. They look at you as you might tell, you might, and I will tell on you. So I'm not gonna say difficult to deal with. It's just I have my ways about me. You know what I'm saying? I try to do what's right all the time. Have I slipped up? Have I crossed the line? Have I done something in the gray? Yeah, I have. Survival be kicking in. Now, survival mode kick in, is you or me, I'm going home. You know, and that's just about me. But do I go out and just do stuff? No. My name is all I have. So everything I do is legit, you know, and I try to stay on the straight and narrow, right? But yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't see no reason why anybody would have a problem with me. You know? I treat people how I want to be treated all the time. Yeah, I might do some other stuff every now and then for survival, but I treat people how I want to be treated all the time, right? I don't stray away from that. So, yeah, at this time, all that was being instilled in the girls. Had already been instilled in the boys, and it was being instilled in them girls, right? So, I was raising them to be perfect. Yeah, because if you're doing what Jesus do, you know, and you living right, you living Christ-like, you doing the right thing all the time, your morals and values is deep-seated in you, your ethics is, you know what I'm saying? You damn near perfect, right? So, yeah, that's how I was raising them. So, they were pure. They were popular. They were poised. Because remember when they volunteered, they had to stand straight up with their arm. So that posture was important for a little girl, right? They were prim and proper. They were always nice and neat and put together. You know how you see me when you see me in public? When I ain't working on nobody's house, when you actually see me and I'm dressed up. And you see everything coordinated, everything matched, everything is neat, no lint, not a hair out of place. That's how my daughters were. Yeah. Image is everything, is what I was teaching them, right? Let me see. We were having daily car ride conversations, and we talked about everything. Yeah. Mainly what they did in school and what I did at work, right? Making sure that they're not having any disputes, any problems, any difficulty in dealing with anything, right? And then we also talked about a lot of stuff that was good. Yeah, everything wasn't problems and bad stuff. Yeah, we talked about everything that was going on with them good. We talked every day, right? Telling them about my day. Sometimes they help me solve some of my problems. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised, right? So, listening to them. So yeah, the car ride conversations was happening daily. I would tell them about my day, parts that I can share, right? Because I'm going to be honest with you, even when they started volunteering for the youth program, I had them sign a confidentiality form. I explained to them exactly what it was, right? Because I know that if they're going to be a part of the program, they're going to meet children, they're going to meet people that they're probably going to see in the street, and then they're going to know their problems. They're going to know what they're dealing with if they come through the youth program, right? So just like I have to sign a form for the parents, I have them sign a form, because if they hear anything, they cannot repeat it to anybody, right? So after we got that understood, I would tell them about certain things, right? At the time, I think I was working for Orchard Children's Services. Nope. I had just lost my job working with this organization that specialized in dealing with children aging out of foster care. I know. So 2016 was a little rough because she fired me right when the girls were graduating. It's like she knew it. And it's like she purposely did it. It's like she set me up. I know this was the wife. Remember that job that I don't really talk about too much, and I say the wife would get irritated every time the husband would come around. She hated that he the one that pulled me in, because he the one I went to school with. He was my friend, right? So he pulled me in. It was like the wife interviewed me, and from that interview I should have known, because she was like, oh, I seen you on channel 2. But she said it so nasty, right? My vibes, everything was going up. The hairs on my neck was going up. But when I tell you, it was like a dream job, because of the flexibility. It was more money. I had access to the court system to help with the youth program. It was like a win-win-win. And that's why I ended up leaving Orchards, right? But when I was working with Orchards, they specialize in foster care, right? So we was dealing with families. And we had contracts with like CPS. So a lot of the jobs, part of that job, me being a family service worker, we worked with CPS, and we had a program, like a wraparound program, and they would send us in to deal with parents when the children were about to be removed. So we would bring resources, programs, we would meet with the family weekly to make sure they're doing everything that they can do to keep the children in the home when I was with Orchards. And then before that, I was working with Matrix, where we deal with Head Start. Again, family service work. But that bachelor's degree that I have in criminal justice allowed me to have these type of positions, right? So yeah, family service worker, and then, before that, it was receiving hospital and customer service. And, receiving is a trauma hospital. So a lot of people that know me, they know me from receiving, right? Because you have a family member that come in, something happened in the middle of the night, chances are they're going to get rushed to receiving hospital. So me being at that customer service desk, yeah, I had an opportunity to meet a lot of people, right? So I started writing the book, and I started the program when I was working at Receiving. I know I used to get in trouble all the time at their front desk, because I'd be writing, I'd be on that computer, I would do my job, but it's always a hater, somebody when we're going somewhere, going back telling the boss, boss, she ain't working, right? But yeah, I started the youth program, and I started writing the book while I was working at Receiving Hospital. Yep, that same program that I'm doing now. Yep. Me and the kids, we were cleaning on the weekend at this time. I had a couple contracts due to keep people. So yeah, after I lost my job, it was tight, but I just ended up falling back on all the hustles that I was doing. You know what I'm saying? The painting and drywall. I started doing more of that. The youth program, I amped it up a little bit. That's why you've seen it on the news a couple times. The cleaning company, I had snatched a couple contracts. So it was hectic, a little tight, but we was able to maintain. Yep, I just had to do all of that to compensate for that check. That's all. Yeah, and I didn't have no extras. Remember, this was extra, but now it's my main source. All right, so yeah, it was a little tight, right? Baby's with me. So the baby with me when I set up for different fairs at the school. You know, when the schools have resource fairs, at this time I'm setting up in 2016. So the baby going with me, setting up. So she talking to the parents like I am at 13. So at 13, she's explaining to the parents that it's a prevention program. She's explaining to the parents that we are a behavior modification program. She's explaining to the parents that we have a family meeting. She's explaining to the parents that we do jail tours. She's explaining these things to the parents. She's explaining to them that we have follow-up services and whatnot. We give out resources. So this is what she's doing. So if I'm talking to a parent or if I step away from the table, this is what the baby is doing. And then she makes sure she leaves them with a card and a brochure, right? And then the oldest, she actually went with me to a presentation that I had to do at Vista Maria. I was trying to partner with them so I can introduce my program to them before I started doing the jail tour, because I wanted like a peer-on-peer mentoring versus the kids going to the jail. I wanted to have options. I wanted to be able to take the younger children and the children that weren't that bad to Vista Maria and talk to those young ladies in that program and the boys in that program or whatever. I think it was girls at this time, just the girls at that program. And then I wanted for the older children, the more severe cases, take them to Ryan and Huron Valley, right? But I wanted options. So yeah, that presentation, my oldest daughter and a friend of hers went during 2016, right? So they were able to stand there and watch me give a presentation for all the heads of the program and some of the youth that live in the facility to introduce to see if my program was a good fit. So I had the children around me and involved in everything that I was doing. It's equivalent to how Beyonce might feel when she see Blue Ivy out there on the stage, right? So having my girls with me and seeing me operate and do what I do, similar to Janae Aiko and her daughter when they were singing to each other on the stage, right? It's just something about your children and your likeness, your children walking in your shoes, your children deciding to take up the same profession that you take. You know what I'm saying? It's just a feeling that you get in your heart. So 2016, I had that feeling. Yeah. Jail tours, supportive services, the oldest and her friend, presentation, staff. I'm trying to stay the script because it's a lot. Love them being with me, following your footsteps, take an interest in what you're doing. How many of your children doing what you do? Like you got a trade, you're an electrician, you're a carpenter, and you're a plumber, and you don't taught the trade to your children. So your children is running the business, or I know, ain't that just the greatest feeling? Like I don't understand. We need to have more of that. If your granddaddy was a plumber, and I know you children, they can have their own mind, they can do what they want to do, but I feel like they should still be able to do that too. You know, carry on the tradition. They should be able to know the importance of carry on that tradition. They should know the importance of taking up that trade that their grandfather took up, or taking over those houses that the grandparent took. So, man, all these houses, remember the grandparents was getting money and they was buying houses, and then the kids, once the grandparents died, the kids selling the houses, they not taking care. Like, oh my God. Okay, that's another story. So, let me see, took an interest. They enjoyed coming with me for the most part. Like I said, there's a few times that they probably shrugged their shoulders. I know one time the baby went with me to set up at a fair and she didn't really want to go. And she was shrugging her shoulders the whole time, walking slow, right? But I'd say after about 20 or 30 minutes of being there, she started waking up a little bit, and then she seen a couple of her friends. So I would let her work for a minute and then go be with her little friends for a few minutes in eyesight where I could see her, you know. But play with her friends. Yeah, I would wanted my children to know what it feels like to be a kid. So I don't want you to think that I just had them working. It was like a slave boat going. No, it wasn't that. But they were learning the business. They were learning business. They were learning things that, I ain't gonna say grown-up things, but they were learning things that I wasn't taught as a child, like credit, home ownership, entrepreneurship. So they were very versed in those areas and in that language. Yeah, so, but other than that, yeah, I didn't put too much on them. They had responsibilities. They had to help with the family business, so that means they were cleaning at night. But at this time, they were only cleaning in the weekend in 2016. Yeah, let me see. Yep, they played. They had friends. They played outside with their friends. So, yeah, I didn't work them all the time. But, yeah, when we set up for those vendors' tables, yep, she was with me. Yeah, I'm trying to cover y'all. I think I covered a lot. I know I gotta get a new book. Yeah, I should have earned my place as a mom with her by this time. Yeah, because at this time she's showing me love and respect. All the children are loving and respecting me. By all means, they should. You know, they watch me do so much, right? So, yeah, just her watching me interact with people, seeing how I roll. Just me saying I'm gonna write a book and then write a book. Me saying that I'm tired of the juvenile system and I'm gonna start a program, then I start a program. Me saying that I'm gonna start a cleaning company so I can create generational wealth and then me starting one. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of know that I'm a show and prove type person. They know that about me. So yeah, I should have earned the love and respect and that place in her life by now as mom, just because of that, right? Why wouldn't a father support this? This way of life, this living, because mind you, I have no mental issues, nor do I abuse drugs or alcohol, so let me throw that in there, right? Yeah, and I've always been stable. Why wouldn't a father be on board with this program and the direction that I'm trying to take his daughter and the rest of my children? Because at first, he wasn't. I'm going to be honest. When I first started it and I had the kids coming to our house, yeah, he wasn't on board until after it started getting traction and I ended up on the news. And then I did my fundraisers. And then we did that basketball tournament at St. Cecilia. Him and my sons were working the concession stand. So after that, I ain't going to say he was fully on board, but he ain't give me he ain't say nothing negative. Because, you know, normally it's something negative. He just stops talking negative and he just wouldn't say nothing about it at all. So take it how you want to take it. He was never supportive in nothing. So the fact that he wasn't talking bad about it, I took that as a good sign. Yeah. But at this point, the program is getting bigger. It's growing traction. It's growing now, right? I'm having more events and more fundraisers, right? People are noticing it, right? I'm doing a Dose of Reality tour. I put a clip on my page. We were doing the tour downtown at the Wayne County Jail, and it was on Comcast. Yep, I put a clip on it. On my page, if you want to go to my page and see it. But I was filming for the Dose of Reality tour, so it's going up. It's going up. I'm still doing the program. Yeah, it's in the resource guide down there at the juvenile court, attitude adjustment. Yeah, we got a Facebook page. You can go and look at some of the news interviews for it. And the information if you want to enroll your child. Yeah. So yeah, we still doing that same program. So in 2016, the plan is coming together. Yeah. I'm solely depending on what I'm doing, which is the program and the cleaning company. I'm getting more contracts, and I'm promoting that program. So we're doing good. I'm selling the book. So we're doing okay. I'm doing all of that. I'm driving foreign vehicles, you know what I'm saying? So we flexing when I pull up and drop them off at school. I think I had the BMW at this time, X5. So we doing good, I would say. You know what I'm saying? I would say you can look at us and see. It was either that or the Range Rover. But it was either one. You can see that we must be doing something right. We doing good. Because, you know, that's what us black folks look at. Materialistic stuff. Oh, she got on the Movado. Oh, she got on the Allure. Or she fresh. She got the Cardi phone. Or she jumping out the BMW or the Range. She must be making money. That don't always be true. I think I made the most money when I gave the foreign cars up and I jumped into that journey. Yeah, it was a newer journey, but it was more efficient on gas. Economically, it made more sense. The notes and everything, it made more sense. I was able to save more money and make more money in that journey than I did in those. Not knocking the foreign cars, not knocking them. I'm just saying, you can just tell how we think, right? So, yeah, so we weren't doing too bad, though. I'm maintaining the bills. Not really missing the beat, especially not with the responsibilities of the girls. They still getting to school on time. They still getting to all their practices. So we are good in 2016. Just to think all of it came to an end in 2018, early 2019. Yeah. I haven't loved on my baby or been a mother to her in almost 7 years. I know that's a drastic change from what I just told you, how 2016 was. I know. So in 2016, everything was working. Nothing I was doing was putting his daughter at risk. And I was a pretty good mom. Yeah, you know, the good mom, getting up every day, taking them to school, picking them up, taking them to practice, going to all the events, attending everything. Yeah, being there for them, being supportive. Yeah, I was doing all of that. I was going to 2 games in a day sometimes when they was both playing basketball and they was both playing volleyball. I know. Yeah, so you would think I would have earned a place by now. But by this time in 2016, we know Dad has already started using manipulation tips. I know. I wish I would have known what he was doing at that time. Hey, Miss Vicky. Yeah, hey, Belle. Yeah, I wish I would have known what he was doing at that time. Because, see, I would have been able to nip it in the bud. Good morning. I would have been able to nip it in the bud, and I just would have stopped her from going over there. You know what I mean? And he just would have had to take me to court. Because you can't raise a child with somebody that hates you and dislikes you and don't respect you, you know? So, yeah, if I would have known what they were doing, I would have just stopped her from going over there. Because I didn't have time, as you can see, from everything that I was doing. I didn't have time to be fighting. I was fighting with him about taking her to the hair salon. What dad overstepped their boundaries like that? If a mother say don't take that baby to a hair salon, what dad do you know overstep their boundaries and continue to take them, right? So just being difficult and just doing things. Remember, I told you that's a manipulation tip. Just being extra difficult to your baby mama or your baby daddy for no reason. Just difficult. You know, no, I can't do it. No, I ain't got it. No, everything is just no, just uncooperative, just not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that type. You can't be like that when you raising a baby, right? So. We already know Dad has used about 12 manipulation tips by 2016. And I'm about to add one more on. Well, it's not so much a manipulation tip, but it's just something that has happened. I'll just say that. Clearly, we were raising her different. Yeah. And it was the difference was so great, she had to make a choice, obviously. And she chose Dad. I don't know how I lost, right? Because moms usually end up on top. Moms usually be the winners at the end of the day, right? So I don't know how I lost to Dad, but I did. You know what I mean? It didn't matter about my experience. It didn't matter how good of a mom I was. So obviously something else played a part. And so now that we're uncovering things, now that the baby's out my life, we're able to see the things that they were doing. And I'm trying to bring them to your attention so that you don't do them. I want to make sure you're not talking about that baby mama or baby daddy in front of that baby. Yeah, you probably was raised like that. You probably don't know no better. Or you might be doing it as a manipulation tip because you're trying to get back at them. So now you're trying to devalue that baby mama or that baby daddy. So you call them out their name. You talk about all the bad stuff that they do. You never give them credit. Yeah, these are manipulation tips. So if you are doing them, stop. That's your child's mom or that's your child's dad. And you show them the same amount of respect that you would want somebody to show your mama or dad. Period. So however way you feel about them personally is cast aside after the breakup. Yeah, so when y'all are just co-parenting, all your personal feelings have to be pushed to the side, and the only focus is the child. So you put that parent in the view of this child, right? So yeah, you don't want to disrespect them, you don't want to talk bad about them, you don't want to do none of those things. But as we see, by 2016, Dad was doing all that. So this is another thing that happened. By this time, remember I told you I was preparing her to be a big sister? Because she was a baby sister in my household. She was the baby. So in her dad's household, since she was his first child, they were expecting a baby, right? So before he got here, I was preparing her to be a big sister. And I know some of y'all say, that ain't your baby, why you worried about it? Well, she's my daughter. And I want to make sure she's not knocked out the ballpark. You know what I mean? I want to make sure she's on top because you'll be surprised how jealousy and hatred would just take over. You know what I mean? So I didn't want that to happen to her. And that's what tends to happen with most parents when you have other children. When you give birth to that other baby, sometimes your baby get jealous of the new baby, right? And so they do stuff. They pinch them. They mean to them. They don't like them. You know what I mean? So you have to prepare that baby when you're about to give birth to another baby, right? So I was preparing her for the birth of her little brother. So she'll know to take care of him. She'll know to love him. She'll know the responsibilities that she'll have as a big sister, right? So baby here. I don't even think he was a year old yet. Let me tell you what happened. She threw that baby in the pen. I know I feel bad for telling y'all this. She tossed that little baby in the pen. And I know you feel like ain't nothing wrong with her playing with the baby and tossing. No, she tossed him in the pen and it was hard objects in the pen and she knew that. I know, he said I should have got her ass therapy at that time, because that's some psychopath stuff, right? You knew it was hard stuff in here, but yet until you threw the baby in there knowing that he can possibly get hurt, she needed her ass whooped for that, right? So the stepmom, bonus mom, called me to find out what she should do and how she should handle it. Of course, I gave her the right of way to discipline, right? So whatever means of discipline she used was what we agreed upon, right? And she did that. Do you know the baby ran across the street to the grandmama, right? Now, the way I was raised, she ran across the street because remember I had family next door on the block I grew up in, right? You run next door and you call yourself telling an adult who disciplined you for something that you did wrong, you probably gonna get disciplined again. Period, right? So she ran across the street to the grandma. So in my mind, the grandma disciplined her and sent her ass back across the street. The grandma told her that the bonus mom didn't have no reason putting her hands on her and said, call CPS on that bitch. I hated raising her with them. So when I tell you I hated raising her with them, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. The morals and values, nothing lined up. Because ain't no way a grandma going to say that to a grandbaby. You done gave her the CPS card. You don't never give a child a CPS card. You get children calling on you all day, every day, just because you're trying to discipline them over the things that they need to be disciplined on, right? So, yeah, you done gave this child the right to just act a nut, if you ask me, right? So all the things that I had put in place for discipline and how you're supposed to respond and what you're supposed to do and teaching the child right from wrong, all that is being shattered at that very moment when grandma did what she did. Overstepping boundaries, just totally rejecting what I don't already said. But I'm the mama, damn it. And if I say discipline her, discipline her. And you should have disciplined her too, right? Now you got a child confused. Now you got everything conflicting with one another because you got one parent that's behaving this way, you got another parent that's not, right? Dad ain't backing up nothing. Dad stayed clear of everything. He ain't checked the mama. He ain't put no boundaries up. When the mama called her out her name, the daddy ain't do nothing. You know, that type of stuff. Yeah, y'all got to be on one accord when y'all raising a baby, right? So the same way a certain situation would be handled at one household has to be handled at the other household. Same rules in one household have to be in the other household. Baby doing chores in this house, they got to be doing chores at the other house. Y'all got to think about all this when y'all decide to break up, right? So where are we? I know I ain't mean to spear off. So yeah, that's what the grandma did. So and help out. Yeah, whatever. So everything that I was doing definitely was working in my household. Like, we were doing good. So I couldn't understand what hate. Why would she be hating this little baby? What the hell? What did I miss, right? That's when I found out the grandma was treating the wife just like how she was treating me when we was married. Like the mistress, right? Yeah, that's that inappropriate relationship that some mothers have when they solely raise their children, their little boys, right? In a certain way, they can't detach. They can't, it's like the umbilical cord is still there. They take mama's boy to a whole different level, right? She was one of them. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples, right? And I don't want to this is not to be disrespectful to nobody. I actually am fans of a few people that I'm about to mention. But the relationship that Jim Jones and his mama had, I feel it's inappropriate. Yep, I love them. She love her son the way she do. And the one with Scrappy and his mama D. And don't be tagging up trying to get no beef going. I'm not beefing with these people. But I'm telling you, the way I view the relationship was like that. They gave the girlfriends hell for no reason, right? So that's inappropriate. And then I'm going to take it a step further. A couple characters you might be familiar with. Everybody loves screaming. The way Raymond's mother treats Raymond. All that favoritism that she paid to Raymond and not the older brother. You don't peep that? Go watch a couple episodes and watch how the mother treats Raymond's wife. I remember one day Raymond was sick and the wife had made him some soup and the mama came all the way from across the street with her own soup and took the soup that the wife made away and said, no, he's not going to eat that, and gave the soup. Yeah, that's all that. You don't do it. Highly inappropriate. That movie, Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, or Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. You know the movie. Michael character, played by Terrence J. What's that girl name? What was the girl name? What was Candace? She was played by Regina Hall. and Miss Loretta, that was played by Jennifer Lewis. That whole dynamic. Remember how she treated Candace like she wasn't good enough for her son and then wanted to get married and stuff like that. That's inappropriate. That's an inappropriate relationship that a mom and a son has, right? So, yeah, I just had to make clarity of that for you. Let's see. Yeah, they treat their sons like they minions. So therefore they get a wife hell, right? When your son get married, you're not losing a son, you gaining a daughter. So now you got two people to run around. That's how you got to think about it, right? I love my baby, my sons and my little brother's baby's mamas. And when they're in a relationship, I love their girlfriend. Right, yeah, that's not a tug of war. It's not a competition, right? It's a place. Everybody has a place, right? Let's see. Everybody loves Raymond. I said that. I'm trying to stay the script. So, yep, so the baby throwing the baby in the pen. Me and the wife having a conversation, being able to control it, me giving her permission, because that's what you do, or have a conversation. Because I'm not going to say permission, because it was understood. Because when I send her over there, I tell her this is her mom when she's over there, right? Your stepmom, that's your bonus mom. I don't even use the word step, not in the program and not with the children, right? So that's your bonus mom. So you love and you respect her the same as you do me, right? So she tell you to do something, you do it, right? So you shouldn't be giving her no problems, right? So yeah, I didn't have a problem with her disciplining her while she was over there in her care, right? So grandma overstepped boundaries when she did that. Grandma was way out of line for that. Yep, I should have had the last say. And I don't know why she wanted to take my place so bad. You know, she raised her kids, right? And I wasn't doing such a bad job as mom. Like, I didn't need her to step in and take. That's why we had that grandparents workshop and the co-parenting workshop, so it can be understood the difference between a grandparent that's solely raising children because the parents are deceased or incarcerated versus a grandparent that's dealing with grandchildren and the parents are active. Yep, it's a thin line, but it's a line. Yep. Call CPS. Override what I say. And this is when I found out that she wasn't dealing with that little boy for a year. So the inappropriate relationship that she had, she was treating the wife how she was similar to how she was treating me, like she couldn't stand us, like we was mistresses, like we was getting in the way. So she felt like that baby shouldn't have been here. As if the wife trapped her husband. Yeah, she said something wild to me one day. She was probably under the influence, and she said something wild to me one day. And I couldn't understand it. So that lets me know she wasn't dealing with that baby for almost a whole year. And she stayed right across the street. So if that ain't the meanest, hatefulest, evilest thing you can do, you the grandma and you choose not to deal with this little boy for all that. So that's where the hate came from. I know, because then I didn't know. I know now because I'm unraveling it as if it's a crime. So now I know that it's because the hatred that the grandma was showing towards that little baby is what she picked up on, to where she thought it was okay to just toss him in that pen, not caring if he hurt himself or not, right? And then the grandma followed it up with calling CPS and not showing no care and concern for the fact that that baby could have got hurt the way he was thrown in that pen. I know, I swear my baby was a good little girl. All this shit that was going on over there, it was like she was a different person. It was like two completely different personalities, right? Yeah, I wish I would have known what was going on, because I probably would have got her some treatment at that time to figure out what was going on, and it probably would have came back, the things that Dad was doing at that time would have came out, right? But again, a lot of the stuff he was doing was under the radar, so I had no clue until now, right? But now it's too late. Yeah, because I ain't seen her in 7 years, so it's too late now to figure it out. But I hope you guys follow the videos, because they all for educational purposes. So I hope you don't do some of the things that we were doing. I hope you are better parents, and I hope you have a better co-parenting relationship. Hey, Philando, how you doing, handsome? So yep, so that hatred seed and that jealousy seed had been planted in my baby. We already knew that, right? So now I see where it's coming from. Yeah, because I know I did everything I could to make sure she loved that little baby and was expecting him, and her role that she had to play to be the big sister. Yeah, it was not I covered everything. There is no way she would have did that on my watch, right? So everything is going good in my house and in my world. But on that other side, these seeds are being planted and those manipulation tips are being used for no reason. Yeah, it was no reason why we couldn't continue to share her like we were sharing her. Yeah, I had her every throughout the week. He had her every weekend, had her in the summertime. We shared her on holidays. Yep, I had a tradition. And I'm not going to say had because I did it last year. But since she's been gone, I haven't been doing it, right? But this is something that I did all the way on Andover for Lando. Yeah, for Christmas, I do my brunch. That's how long I've been doing for Lando, all the way on Andover. Yeah, my Christmas brunch. Yeah, and so I would have the brunch, and then he would pick her up after and take her to his house. So we shared her. It was no reason for none of that to stop. We were both taking credit for her achievements, everything that she was doing in life. Yeah, because right now she's doing everything that I wrote about in the book. So we both were taking credit for that. Yeah, whether I came up with the blueprint or not, in my eyes, we were both doing the work. We were both doing the work. Yeah, whether we were talking, whether we were getting along, any of that. In my eyes, we were both doing the work because she was doing everything in the book. So yeah, we thought we were on the same page. Yeah, it was no reason why we couldn't continue to do that and be on the same page and raise her together. Because we both wanted the same thing for her. We wanted the best, right? Yeah, everything in the book. We both wanted everything that she's doing right now. I taught her, and we both wanted that. Yeah, I don't know why I had to be removed for that to happen. I'm the one that wrote the book, right? That's like you build a table and they won't let you sit at it. Ain't no place for you at this table that you built, right? Yeah, it don't make sense. Yeah, it don't. If I built it, I should be sitting at the head, right? Let's see. So in 2016, we have no disorders, we have no addictions, we have no police contact. My fatherless boys are fathers to their children. They're protectors. They're providers. The girls are perfect. We are working together right now with the cleaning company. So that family business is off the ground right now. The kids are volunteering at different events. So they're not mentors in the youth program yet, but they are hostesses every time we have an event. They are packing backpacks whenever we do a backpack giveaway. So they doing things of that nature. They are with me passing out flyers for different campaigns and different events that we have going on. We've started filming for the trailer for the book because a lot of the clips that I had for the trailer were catching the girls at different stages because the book is me growing up. So it talks about me in different stages of life. So when I was filming the trailer, it caught them in different parts. So at that time, the baby was old enough to play me. And my little cousin was playing my best friend, Dad. Remember Dad, Philando? My little cousin was short, dark-skinned, just like my friend for her age. And I tell you, they played the role perfect. So the couple clips that we did get, I'm proud of, even though we weren't able to use it because when he pulled the baby out, that project stopped. But at this time, we had started filming for the trailer for the book. I know. So we was well on our way to becoming famous and wealthy, right? We was on our way in 2016. So y'all, that's it for Coffee and Conversation. I got a lot going on today. Enjoy your Monday.